Hi, it's Liz with That's Crafty, and with this video I want to show you how to use my brand new Journal It Templates set 3, and for this one I'm going to be doing the Flip Flap album. So this is a really nice square sized journal or album, and the pages flip out on either side. For this sample I've actually used a magnet to attach the front covers together, and I've decorated them with the Crafty clock papers that are available on the That's Crafty website. They're absolutely beautiful pages, and they fit so well with my template, so do check them out if you haven't already. I've also used some of my new stamps. These are from the Sketchy Flowers and Words stamp, so I've put Vintage Times for the title of this book. So the album itself flips out. So you've got different size pages that fit within each other to reveal something that you want to put in the centre of it. So it's a little bit like an exploding box that stands up like that, but this time it's a flat one. And you can put all sorts of embellishments in the centre of this, because you have got a little bit of a spine there, so it has a little bit of space to put a thicker embellishment down the centre if you wanted to. So I'm going to show you now how to pop your album together. Okay, so for this we've got a 2A template, we've got a 2B template, a 2C, a 2D and a 2E template. So I'll just get all my templates. 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D and 2E. That's lovely. Okay, so for the cover you need the 2A and the 2B pieces. So make sure I've got mine there, and you need to draw one of each of those templates. Now I'm using a heavyweight cardstock. It's about 210 GSM, something like that. So it's quite a nice weight. And then once I've put my pattern papers on, it makes it nice and sturdy. So what I'm going to do is just draw around each of these templates. So at the minute you won't be able to see very much because it's on cream card. But I'm going to use some pencil to draw around these lines. So I've got my straight edges, and then I've got a spine on 2A, and then I want the 2B. And draw around that again with the spine, and I'll just cut those out. I'm just going to miter that corner again so that it matches the one at the bottom. So I've got my 2B, and then I just need to cut round my 2A. And I'm going to get my ruler and my scoring tool just to reinforce those score lines to make sure it's nice and creased. So just get my ruler and just go back down those 2 score lines for each of those pieces that I've just drawn and cut out. So I've got that piece and that piece. And then just fold those to give a good crease. Okay, so what we have is the short piece is 2B and the longer piece is 2A. So this section here, the short piece of 2A, is your front cover. This piece at the back is the back cover, and then this piece is again your front cover. So that will then be attached to the piece 1A to create a flip cover. And then it's up to you if you want to decorate your pages so that it opens like that, or decorate your pages so it opens a bit like a handbag, that one flips over and one flips down. It's entirely up to you. So how to attach these, we have this tab along here. Now what we want to do is put glue on the back of this tab. This then gets attached to the right hand edge of your 1A piece. So I've got my short edge there to the left, I've got my spine, I've got my back section, and then this tab 1B gets attached to the right hand edge of that, making sure I don't get any glue on this spine. Okay, so I'm just going to get some of my multi-purpose adhesive from That's Crafty, and I'm just going to attach that piece to the middle section. So I find it easier to fold it over so that it just reveals the crease, the glued bits underneath, and then line that up with the edge of my card like that. So I've glued that flap to the back of the book, to the back of the cover. Make sure it's nice and straight, and fold it down, and then that then creates, I've got a spine on that side with a little flip and a spine on that side. So it's up to you if you want the flip so it opens to the left, or the flip with the larger section so it opens on the right. It's entirely up to you which way you want to decorate it. If you're going to be using magnets to attach, I would work out the mechanism of your magnets now before you put any pattern paper on. For the sample that I've done, I've got magnets down this section here, and I've also got magnets along this section here. So I attached everything with the magnets before I put my pattern papers on. So just to bear that in mind if you use magnets to attach your pages at the front. Okay, so that's my front cover. So now what I want to do is concentrate on the pages. So I'll get rid of my 2A and 2B, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so now what we want to do is draw around our 2C and 2D template. It's actually the same template, but what I've done, the 2C is on the top of the section, and then the 2D is at the bottom. And what that means is you need to draw around your 2C, and then you can rotate it and draw around your 2D, but the spine widths are different. So it just means that your 2D pages are going to be slightly bigger than your 2C pages, just because the 2C spine is slightly wider than the 2D one. You also need to draw around 2C and 2D twice, so you've got an even number of flip out pages on either side. So I'll just draw around them to show you what I mean. So I'm butting the 2C to the left hand and top of my page, and I know it's 2C because I can read it. So that's going to be positioned right in the top corner of my page, so I'm not wasting anything. And then I'm going to draw all the way down the edge of this page, and I'm just going to ignore these score lines at the minute. I'm just drawing right at the edge of the template and right down at the bottom. Now I have put some little notches just to the top and the side where this spine is here on the left hand side. So I'm going to draw around the spine, and then I'm just going to draw around the top notch there on the left, that one, and then the one just to the side of it. And all this is, it just gives me an indication of where to cut to mitre that side of my tab. So I've just drawn the notch there and there. Then I'm just going to rotate my template so that now I've got 2D that I can read, and I'm just going to position that right next to the 2C that I've just drawn round. Again, I'm going to come right to the edge of that page, ignoring the notches till I get right down to the bottom. I'm going to put my score lines in. So this time my score lines are nearer to each other, and then I just want to draw in the notch there on the left and the notch on the right, and the same at the bottom, the notch there and the notch on the left there. So when I take this page away, and I'm just going to cut these 2 pages out, I'll show you what they look like. So again, if you want to use a paper trimmer rather than your scissors, please do so. All I'm doing, I'm just cutting around the straight lines to start with. I'm not putting any notches in. I'm just drawing, cutting where I've put my pencil lines. There we go. So I've got 1 page C there, and I've got 1 page D. I'll just move these out of the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is actually just cut across where I've put those little tab lines, and it just means it mitres that tab at the edge. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom. So that's on 2D because it's got the narrow spine, and I'm going to do the same on 2C. So I've just mitered there. And then what I want to do is just score down those sets of spines just to make sure it's nice and creased. So again, score that and score that. Score that and score that. So you need to do that twice. So you've got 2 sets of 2C pages and 2 sets of 2D pages. So now I've got my 2C pages. I'm going to fold up those score lines that I've just scored down. Give them a nice crease. So they're nice and flat. Same on that one. And it's important that you do score these and you give them a nice crease, because these are going to be the hinges at the side of your little book. So it's important that they're nice and straight. Okay, so what you should have now are 2 pages 2C that look like that. So you've got a little tab and a little spine, and then your main page. So we're now going to attach these 2 pages to our cover. So there we go. So we've got our cover piece there, and I'll do it that way. So we've got 2C that's attached on this middle section. So what we want to do now is attach the 2C section by this little tab here. So again, I'm going to put some glue on this little section here, and that's then going to be glued to this back page. As we did with the 2B here, the little tab, we're going to do exactly the same with this tab, and it's going to stick across the top there. Again, making sure I don't put any glue on the spine section. I only want glue on this tab. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, and I'm using the permanent multi-purpose adhesive from That's Crafty. Just wipe it so it's nice and even, and then again, because I've folded it over, I'm just going to carefully fold it at the crease so that the glue is on this side, and line it up so that it just fits inside that back page, and lining it up at the top so it shouldn't impede your spine on either side when you put it in, but it will flip up and it will have its own spine there at the side. So I've attached one of the 2Cs at the top, and I'm just going to rotate it and do exactly the same with the other 2C page. So again, I'm just attaching a little bit of glue, make sure it's all nicely stuck, and then stick that inside both spines on the back page, lining it up so it's straight and it doesn't impede my spine. So now I've got my 2C section in, so that they fold up and then my cover folds over the top of it, so it looks like a nice self-enclosed little box shape. So now what I want to do is attach my 1D pieces, my 2D pieces. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move this out of the way so I can score down those score lines, make sure they're nice and creased. And this time the spine will be slightly thinner, because obviously it's got to sit inside those other 2 sets of pages. So the further inside the album it gets, the spine pieces are going to get smaller. So that's the way to remember which order to put your pages in. So your 2 outer pages, your 2A and 2B are your cover. The spine on those are slightly bigger than your 2C page, and then your 2C pages are slightly bigger, the spines, than your 2D pages. There we go, so they're nice and creased, and I've got my 2 little spines and my 2 tabs. So I'll get my cover. So this time, I've got my 2C at the top and at the bottom. So I'm going to rotate it, because this time I want to put my 2D on this extra section here and here. So I've just rotated it, so eventually I'll have my 4 inside pages with the tabs covering the whole of this little back piece here on the edges. So again, I'm just going to put a little line of glue, making sure I don't get any on the spine. That needs to be completely free of glue. I'm only gluing my tab piece. I've folded it over, and then carefully line it back up to the edge now of where that spine is, and it will sit nicely within that page. And because I've mitered the corners, it just means it's not as bulky on the inside, because obviously now I've got 3 layers of cardstock, and because that spine is slightly smaller than 2C, it just means it will fold over on itself and make it really nice and neat. So finally, I just want to attach this piece. So it's up to you how many pages you actually want to put in. I know Jill, with one of her samples, Jill Humphrey, managed to put quite a few pages in. So if you wanted to actually do 4 pages of 2C and 4 pages of 2D, it's up to you. But obviously the thicker it is inside, you might need to just adapt your outside page so that you've got a wider spine again. But I would suggest, you know, experiment, see if you like to do flip out pages and things. So I'm just going to rotate it all the way around, and I'm just going to put my final piece here. So I folded that over. I've got no glue on my spine, and I'm just going to line that piece up to the spine on the other side, making sure it's nice and straight. So that then is my 2D, so it will fold up. Got my 2D pieces, they fold up. My 2C pieces, they fold up, and then I've got my front cover that folds up as well, and everything is nice and neat in a little box shape. And then the final piece that you need to attach is your 2E, and your 2E piece will cover this section here, so it just hides all your workings out. But sometimes what I do is just cut out a piece that will fit directly with my patterned paper. So what I tend to do, let's see if I've got a piece here, is have it already cut out and measured with my patterned paper. So that's my 2E piece, and what I did, I just drew round the template with my patterned piece of paper like that, and cut that out, and then that will then just stick directly over the top, and it hides all your mechanism underneath. So I'm just going to do that now. A little bit of glue on the back of my pattern paper. Again, I've used the Crafty cloth paper for this one. I think I've used the Blooming Retreat on this one, which is a really pretty paper. But there's so many choices on the That's Crafty website, so do check out the Crafty cloth papers because they're so good. The quality, you can hear it, they're so lovely. And that then just sticks nicely to the centre of that page, and then it just hides the mechanism underneath where all your little tabs are, and that is there, your little flip out pocket to decorate as you would like. So I hope that was useful for you. Please do message me if you've got any questions about the templates or the stamps. You can get me via That's Crafty Creatives page on Facebook or Liz Wheeler Designs on Facebook. And please do check out the blog on That's Crafty, where Jill Humphrey has done all instructions on how to make any of the samples that she did for the shows. If you manage to catch any of those, they're really worth it because she does really good step-by-step instructions. But I hope you enjoy using your new template set 3, and if any of you got any of the stamps, I use them on everything now. So the next few little videos will be how I've used the other sets of templates and the stamps together. Okay, bye for now.